June 12th, 2023 at 7:15 and 30 seconds. Just kidding. And we are going to open our meeting by showing respect. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So we have A&R Jeffrey Gagner Devil's Lane. Not here, is that?
That's that, yeah. They still have to bring the check too, so they were bringing it today.
So we table that?
Table to the end of the meeting, can't do anything. No check, no representation.
Okay, no check, no show up. It's in the agenda, so we'll table it until the end of the meeting. Maybe they show up.
How many days though do we have on the
Anybody on
A&R?
Zoom?
We have to be careful.
What is it?
I think that those get constructive improvement after like 21 days.
Mm-hmm.
So
They submitted it on Thursday.
But they haven't given us a check yet, right?
okay.
So.
So what triggers the
we
time?
Excuse me, there's no audio coming through from the planning board.
Say that again,
Oh.
please.
Oh, are we muted? Hold on. No. Oh, microphone. Is the thing muted?
It's not red.
No. Can you hear us now? Anybody?
Can you hear us
We
now?
can hear you when you're about that close. That's about it.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us now?
Now it's red, right?
I can do it from the app. Fix camera on a specific location, ignore. Okay, the mic is off. I'm gonna turn around. Hi, can you hear us now?
Got the level all the way up.
I don't think it's the microphone. Just make sure your wires.
I can unplug. Well, I don't know if I want to.
What about in there?
Can you hear us now?
I think so.
You can hear us now?
Is the cord plugged in all the way? Maybe it's just not.
Yeah.
Not really.
How about now?
Can you hear me now? It was hot.
Was it?
Can you hear us now? Halfway out.
Can you hear us now? Joyce?
That was much better.
Much better? Okay.
Well, the last person who said much better sounded like they were a mile away.
You still can't hear us? Guess not.
Joyce, can you hear us?
I just texted her.
I can hear you
Okay.
Okay.
better now than, just a couple minutes ago.
It was doing
It's
it.
still, it's far away. It sounds like he's in a tunnel.
A big tunnel?
No, a short tunnel.
Oh, okay, good.
Do a text.
I can hear you though. If I turn my laptop up, I can hear you.
Now, can you hear me, Joyce?
Is
Yeah.
this any better?
Now, can you hear me, Joyce?
That's much better, weirdly enough. Yeah.
Okay.
What's in here?
It's on the owl.
That's fine.
And this is on the owl. So
That should be okay. Can you confirm again that you can hear me and everybody?
Joyce gave us a thumbs up.
Okay.
Good on my end as well.
Perfect.
Good.
Maybe he's person doing A&R.
Yeah, are you,
No, that's Jeffrey Gagner.
nobody from the A&R
Jeffrey
On
Gagner?
Zoom?
on Zoom? Jeffrey Gagner for Devil's Lane.
Good.
All right, well, I guess we'll.
Okay, we'll still table it. We have a meeting workshop on special permit 307 Route 19, Material LLC, vote expected. Is that what you?
Yes.
Welcome, Jim.
So Ed went through this,
Yeah.
added the additional conditions.
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward.
That one, that's the Rolling Hills one.
I'm just thinking. Anybody has something for discussion?
No.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
You good?
Yep. I think everything's like a bylaw.
Yeah.
Just added the 200-foot thing, so.
And we know Mr. Jim Fontaine very well then. He's gonna take care of the land.
Yes.
And you love Warren, so you're gonna do everything for Warren. No dirt on the road and, you know, maybe I'm riding my motorcycle and, okay. You wanna make a motion?
I do a motion to approve the special permit application, and the decision for, section special permit application 307. Mr. James Fountain.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, aye.
Ed Longigan, aye?
David Dufresne, aye?
Derek Bailey's aye.
Rich Hacker, aye.
Motion passes.
So, do you sign something tonight that the clock starts for our 21 days?
When does it clock?
20 days, but yeah.
20
You
days.
pick it up on the 21st day.
What's that tonight?
It starts after the town clerk. We have 14 days for the town clerk, but
Oh,
I
yeah,
usually
right,
do
yeah.
it within
yeah.
the week.
So, yeah.
I do it pretty quick. But you'll get the letter. It'll tell you the day that you can come pick it up.
Okay. Oh, sorry, you're gonna call, I thought we were taking it tonight. We're not taking it tonight.
No.
No, because
Well, it
she's
has to
got
get- Yeah.
she'll go through it. So we have 14 days now. So
Yeah.
she'll go through it probably one more time, just to make sure everything's good.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we can sign. We'll probably sign like the back page,
Okay.
and then and then the town clerk is the next stop, right? So
Yep.
then she's gotta give it to the
Stamps
town
it,
clerk.
time
to get
stamps it.
stamped.
And then
Does the
from
20 days start tonight, or
no,
does?
the day that she's within the 14 days, she will timestamp it, and then it'll be 20 days. So the day I send out the letter, it'll have the 21st day that the day that you can come pick it up.
Okay.
Anything else you need from us?
I think it says there, right? In this page?
No, I don't think.
It says it on the letter underneath when you can come pick it up.
At the end it says within 14 days of.
Unless you just wanna hang out.
No.
Not that you have anything to do, you're never busy.
Yeah, nothing personal, but no. Okay, so we'll wait to see the letter.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, gentlemen. It was,
Roll call now. Next is to discuss Angelita's Energy Performance Agreement. We'll be discussing for the agreement.
Didn't their permit expire?
No,
No.
well, it did, but they got a building permit because there was substantial, or not substantial, but
So, I don't understand how there was substantial work because nothing was being done. And our peer reviewer said month after month after month that nothing was being done.
I don't know.
So I'm really iffy about this one because they let it sit there for 2 years and did nothing. And that was annotated by our peer reviewer. And then all of a sudden, BJ pulls out that substantial work was done. Where? A basin that's been there for 2 years? I thought we're not supposed to warehouse property or allow warehousing of property like that for this purpose. So, I'm still very
So,
confused on this
Was the
one.
building permit issued after their permit expired?
Yes,
Then how can it be valid?
it can't. And I don't know how she can rule saying that, they have a special permit because that's not her role. It hasn't even come out of planning board yet.
And if it requires planning board approval, they haven't given it approval yet, because their permit expired, they have to start from scratch. I don't see how a building permit could be issued, after the.
After it's been expired.
Right, but it's also been,
And,
nothing's
and,
been, I mean, how many times have we seen that? Nothing's been done for
Right.
6, 8, 10, 12 times.
the peer reviewer annotated it on every one of their peer reviews that they've gone through. There's been no work.
So if you guys don't mind me jumping in, my name's Chris Pointer. I work for Agilitas Energy. I am the senior project manager tied to this project. The purpose of reaching out to the planning board today was not to discuss the validity of the special permit. I know that that is still a hot topic, but I did want to focus on something specific in the permitting conditions. I know that the validity of this is being discussed, but I am just looking for clarity on the section 12.5.4, which is tied to that financial surety. So there was a payment made for $198,106.51 as set forth in this. I just wanted to make sure that that document, or the document that you're looking for, is the same one or similar to the one that we submitted, I want to say last week or the week prior to that. So contextually, this looks like a decommissioning agreement, but I am just looking for some clarity on that.
Well, we're trying to clarify if you even have a special permit.
I mean, are you, you're looking for clarity on whether this is a performance, a decommissioning plan, is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay. So is this what we were looking for?
Right. So, on the third page, you didn't include the other site. So you've got 2 sites in Warren, 2 sites in West Brookfield.
I believe that the sites are separate, but I may be mistaken.
So-
As in, I don't know if there's 2 lots that make up the southern portion of the project that are the Warren side, or if that is the ones across the street. I don't know that offhand.
So there's one site in Warren on the north side, There's one site in Warren on the south side, and same thing for West Brookfield. So there's 4 separate sites that you have it split up as.
I think ours are 3 and 4, right? So West
Right.
Brookfield's 1 and
Right.
2. And it's across Beaman Road. So I think you have, see, I don't know what numbers these are when I look at them. But it looks like you have the West Brookfield site and the Warren site of half the project.
Yes.
So are you gonna I guess the question is, well, you need to include the other sites, or at least the Warren side of it on here, or unless you do a separate document for that side, I mean.
There would be a separate document for the
Okay.
one across the street, yes.
Okay,
We're treating that as 2 separate projects. I think that has its own special permit also, and we'd be going for a building permit on that one as well when that's ready.
okay.
Shouldn't be getting a building permit in the first place.
Yeah.
You don't have a special permit anymore. We gotta clear this up. We gotta talk to BJ, because I don't know why she issued a permit. Hey,
Well, I mean,
I know what she says in her letter,
yeah,
but there has been no significant work. You know, land clearing is land clearing. And you leave it there for 2 years, do nothing on it, you can't warehouse property.
yeah.
So, we've discussed this in our previous meeting, we all agreed that there was no special permit anymore. And, based on what was there, and all of a sudden BJ's pulling out there saying, okay, yep, there's I approve this. She should never have approved it. The board should have had a discussion about it, it should have gone in front of the whole board, and this is something that should have been discussed about the special permit. Not arbitrarily, well, I make a decision, that's that.
Hmm.
I think she's expanded beyond her scope of authority, There's no special permit, we have already determined that.
Mhm.
Okay, but they've submitted the plan and we have a check for that, right, Jill?
Yes.
100
So we still
whatever
have
it
it.
is.
Dawn has it.
So is this applying for a new special permit?
No, this is the decommissioning.
This is the decommissioning.
They're on the hook for $198,000 for decommissioning costs. So they sent in a check and then they have to do a plan.
Right.
So that's what this
But
is.
that's based upon the prior permit, correct?
Yeah, yep.
So if we have to start from scratch,
Well, I mean,
I know, I'm just raising a question now.
The question for the commissioner will be if the special permit is gone, she can still,
yeah,
She
do a
can't.
building permit.
There's no special permit anymore.
well, that's the question.
And-
Question her,
Right.
Arbor, again, she went beyond, in my opinion, went beyond the scope of her authority. And she issued a permit that should not have been issued. And she needs to rescind that, because they don't even have a special permit at this point. There's no work that should be done at all in the Warren side. And we need to talk to BJ about this, because that was wrong,
Jill, was the building commissioner aware that the special permit was gone?
Yep, there was a whole email chain, if you
Oh,
guys
yeah,
look
yeah.
at it, you
Yeah.
can pull it
That's
right
what I was
up.
trying to do, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna hear.
Yep. And I believe she
Well,
spoke
okay,
to you,
These are
Rich, right?
things that are supposed to be discussed in a meeting now.
Yeah.
For all members to sit here and discuss and hash it out and make a decision on where we go from there. Again,
If there was nothing done, and it's verified nothing was done, there
And it
doesn't
was
seem to be a
annotated.
question.
it was annotated by the peer reviewer over and over and over, no progress on the site, no work being done. And we've seen that, we've said that several times when we had meetings about this, that nothing was being done up there. And the only thing they wanted to do is clean a basin, and they should have been doing that anyways, because they're gonna maintain it, but they never even did that either, because the peer reviewer, noted that they didn't even clean the basins that they were told to.
Right, but the
So-
question at hand here about the performance agreement, is this a performance agreement, a decommissioning agreement? Do we just put all that on hold till we resolve this other question?
Yeah, it's a moot point. Money should not have been accepted unless they were
I thought that money was
applying.
being returned.
It was
It
returned.
was.
It was.
It was
And it
right,
was-
and then came back again.
Shouldn't have been accepted then,
Right, so,
because they don't even have a special permit. And again, these are things, these are reasons why we have a board meeting. We all gather together and we discuss these things in an open forum.
right, so, we
To hash
really,
it out.
we really need to put this on hold till we resolve this question about the permit.
Yeah, I wish the commissioner who had gave us the heads up, like what she was gonna do, so we can stop it there, and
She did, there was an email.
that she was gonna give the special,
Mhm.
the,
Well, we got an email that she did it, not that she was going to do it. Right, I mean, that's this email here.
yeah, that's the one I'm reading it right now.
Yeah. What was the date of that email?
9th?
3 days ago.
All right, well,
Which would have been over when we're closed, right?
Hmm?
Wasn't the town closed on the
Yep.
ninth? How can you do work on the ninth when there's?
She works
yeah, she
constantly.
just works whenever.
She just works. So I think this is something we need to research more and have a meeting on, just to see if there's even a special permit. And I would notify them that the planning board has not issued, or the last ruling we had is, we all looked at it and said, there's no special permit at this point. And, you know, until we have a meeting clearing up the special permit, there should be no activity on this at all, till we resolve that. And that would require a meeting. And then we can move forward. If we're wrong and they do have a special permit and they can prove that, then fine. Then we move forward and do the rest. But I think this all needs to be dealt with.
We need to
Here.
resolve this question before we
Right.
can address this, the performance agreement.
Right, and I would caution any work being done on that site, because that permit, she needs to pull it. You know, I notify them that she needs to rescind that, because there's no special permit. We haven't resolved that yet.
Neither Drew or I got that email.
Oh, really?
That I can find.
I can't find, I didn't get anything on the ninth.
BJ's email,
Yeah.
Nope.
only send it to Rich, me, David, Jill, and Jimmy.
So it's the official word that the planning board will not opine on the question regarding section 12.5.4, I think, of that special permit until you have made a decision or had a conversation about the special permit and its validity.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
We need to resolve the special permit, and you guys are not doing any work over there, correct? In Warren?
We have not started work in Warren or even in West Brookfield yet. Nothing more than mowing and surveying.
Okay.
Right. I'd hate to see you pull out anything because you don't have a permit.
So we need to resolve this issue, and then we can come back and address the decommissioning performance agreement.
Okay,
Okay?
understood.
All right.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Sure.
So
We'll
to be
talk soon, I'm sure.
To be fair, we should probably schedule a meeting, our next meeting. Add this on the agenda, this discussion of the special permit, and go from there.
Mhm.
And BJ be there.
Yeah.
BJ should be here. If she's gonna try to overrule something or
Yeah, would one of you-
circumvent the process,
one of you
she needs to
forward that
explain
email
it.
to Drew and I?
I don't see anything on here
I,
at all.
I
Here,
don't
I'll
have
just-
anything from June 9th at all.
Here, I'll just send it to
No,
you.
you're not on that email.
No,
No, you're not.
no.
Then I don't care about
And that's the only chain I have from the
Okay.
day she sends it, but I didn't see any of this.
I just sent it to you guys.
Okay.
I think I did, right? Did I do reply or forward? I did forward.
Anything else I can help the planning board with?
No, I think
I don't
that's
think
it
so.
for tonight.
Stay tuned for the next meeting.
Right? All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right,
Thank you.
it. Thank you.
Here we go.
So we're gonna put that on the agenda for next meeting. We're gonna invite our building commissioner. And we're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
Next is discuss the rules and regulations for site plan approval. Who wants to start with that?
Do you want to explain this, Jill, or you,
I mean, there's some confusion, right,
Yeah.
about how it all
the
works?
process?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
When you read it, it's,
I mean, is it what they're supposed to submit? Is that what the?
well, it says here that the zoning enforcement officer shall review every application. It doesn't state if it's a special permit application, a building permit application. For a zoning permit, upon making a determination that the site plan approval is required, she shall issue a rejection. So the first part is, are they supposed to be asking for a building permit and she rejects the building permit stating they need a special permit? Or are they submitting a special permit and she's giving the reason why on that, which has been left blank, because is she given the reason why they need a special permit? And then it states that the next step is, once the rejection, then they submit it to the town clerk. And then the town clerk gives a site plan approval application, which also says it should be stamped. So it's a lot of,
I came on just as the last building inspector was leaving. And what he would do, he would take the application, review it, and say, yes, a special permit needs to be filed, therefore I reject it.
was it a building permit application or a special permit application that he reviewed?
It would have to be a building permit.
Building
That's
permit.
what I,
Yeah,
There has to be something in the
building
file
inspector
from
can't
that,
do
but-
special permits.
But he would, whatever he would reject it and then say, no, you need a
Mhm.
special permit.
so a building,
And that was kind of the standard procedure. It went to him first, his rejection.
It's also clarified in the bylaws what will get a special permit. And solar is a special permit. You know, there's a few things in there that special permits required.
So what I would like to see in section 3 is, the first paragraph talks about the building inspector. And then it goes, the second paragraph goes right to town clerk. I think the second paragraph should be that it goes back to the planning board office. And Jill can tell them what they need, what paperwork they need. So for example, like this checklist, right, that no one has submitted, I think. Jill can say, okay, you need to do the site plan approval checklist. We spent all this time developing this and then no one uses it, so.
but it also says if a person if they're confused, if a person wishes to discuss a potential project and seek clarification on the requirements prior to beginning the application process, the board is willing to do so at a regular scheduled meeting. So maybe they should come to the meeting to understand everything that they need first.
Yeah, that would be helpful too. I mean, yeah, we said we'd do that.
Usually that's how it works in other towns. Then because for example, I get a client they have a huge project ongoing, I will go to the town, I will schedule a meeting, time for the meeting, for this matter, and I'll stand up over there and ask, look, my client wants to do this in town, there's anything that I should be aware of that you don't like, or what will you like? And they'll give me a direction. Then I start my paperwork, because now they could tell me, no, that's not gonna fly. Or yeah, you're gonna have to work with the historic department because that's a historic place, or you're gonna have to work with, conservation because that's in the middle of wetlands. So usually the first meeting that we go in front of a planning board, it's more information, introducing the project, the intentions of the client that they wanna do.
But have you, at that point, did you already go to the building inspector and get a rejection on your?
No, not officially. Sometimes you talk to the building inspector and say, hey, I have this project, do you think it's gonna fly? Most of the time they said, go to the planning board. I can't answer your question. If it's smaller enough where I'm trying to say, look, we have this old house and we look at the historical pictures and they said there was stairs on the side, I wanna put them back. Oh yeah, you could do that, talk to the historic. More, building inspector is more the code. Everything has to be on a code. So it's not like this is something new for the town. He may say, well, if you look at our bylaws, you cannot put solar over there, that kind of direction. You cannot put, a McDonald's right in the middle of this site, or whatever the situation is. But at the beginning, there's a introduction of your intent into the planning board. And usually, when we do it, we just, get ourselves on the agenda and say, we have all this plan, trying to get them excited, to not get rejected. And once we get the blessing, yeah, this looks really good, then we start working on it, and we go through all the protocols, all the paperwork, and every place is different. That checklist is minute. If I send you guys other checklists from other towns, it's scrolling, there's a lot. But basically that's, because remember, the planning board decides the use of the land. So somebody's gonna come here and say, hey, there's nothing here, and we wanna convert it into something else. And then we come as a group and say, oh, do you think that's good for the town? Right? Does it apply? Can we go legally, through the bylaws? If not, we'll do a special permit because we really think this should be there for the town. Once we say, yeah, this is great, that's what the checklist is. We make sure that they really have that intent. And they ask us, other municipalities, to do a complete project for the planning board so they can see how it's gonna look. They go, in some places, they even go into the colors of the building, the way the windows are gonna look, everything. Not because we don't, is the building inspector the one who's gonna say, how many windows or X, Y, and Z. But the planning board wants to make sure that whatever comes to town and the change of use that we're gonna have, it is the appropriate for the town. Like we that's the idea of the planning board, just the use of the land. And you can see in other municipalities, they really ask the clients, okay, show us what you wanna do. We wanna see what you wanna do so we can agree on it, because I can come out and say, hey, I really like to, put a hotel here, or, pull all these townhouses.
Yeah.
And planning board gets excited, oh, that's great for the town, and then I come out with something mediocre. And it's that we didn't want that, but we never, ask, how is it gonna look?
Right.
And it helps the client because they start the process of the building permit, to make the plans, the building department is gonna ask for that checklist in more detail. Construction documents, it's a lot more than that.
Right.
Mhm.
So,
This says that the applicant, the zoning officer shall review every application for a zoning permit.
That's what I was
I'm
sticking on that.
What's a zoning permit? Have you ever heard of that, Joe? Someone come in and say yes?
No.
I think what it's trying to say is anything requiring a zoning review, because you're reviewing
Yeah,
if it
zoning
complies with
review.
the zoning.
Mhm.
It's better.
Because Kathy used to do this. I remember her giving whatever to Jack Keith, I think his name was?
Kehoe,
Keith?
Kehoe.
Kehoe.
Yeah.
And I saw him, say he'd reject them, and he gave it back to her. He said, all right, a special permit's required, so I'm not exactly sure what it was,
Yeah, it was a zoning review.
a zoning review.
Yeah,
Mhm.
not a, okay, so that word needs to be changed.
Okay.
Yeah,
It still seems like it's the first step, because if you don't,
I would say zoning and bylaw review.
And maybe after, if it's rejected, then the applicant can decide, do they wanna start their clock ticking, or do they wanna come to the planning board? They don't have to submit it right away when she rejects it. The
And I think
timeline starts
word
when the town
rejected
clerk.
sounds terrible. I think it's like, usually the.
Well,
building
rejecting the
inspector-
permit, the
Yeah, well,
permit's
then
denied, the,
You
the,
can't do this, you have to go
application.
first through that.
Yeah.
So before they pay for the building permit and do all that,
right,
you know, just come and sit here and then we can deal with it a little bit better.
So Rich, did you write this?
what?
The
Yes,
rules and stuff?
No.
no, but these are the new one. right?
No, this has been, we did the checklist.
The only thing we put on here was the open door policy, and we
The
did the
checklist.
The
checklist.
Yeah.
And maybe some other small things here and there on the text, but this is somewhat how it,
So I'm kinda sticking with Ed on this, as far as with the,
The zoning.
section 3, the inspector of buildings zoning enforcement officer shall review every application for a zoning permit.
Oh,
Should,
zoning.
that should probably be, review every application for zoning compliance
review.
sure.
or review.
Yeah, well,
Every
And I would-
building permit application should be specific, cause this says
mhm.
site plan approval. Doesn't say what type of application it is.
Yeah, it should be building permit application. Inspector of Building Zoning Enforcement shall review every building, right, permit application
For a zoning
for
review.
zoning, somebody said the word.
Review.
No,
So,
cause you already said
compliance.
review. Zoning compliance, for zoning compliance.
Because that's what you're really looking for, is that if it complies with our
Yeah,
zoning bylaw.
Yeah, sometimes the clients have bigger ambitions and they wanna put something really big that they're afraid of, spending, and they'll ask, Derek, can you find out? And I'll go and say, hey, can we do a casino here? Planning board will go, no, and I go to the client, no, they really don't want, so he really, checks the town out and goes somewhere else. Instead of doing the permit, doing a casino, then comes in and says, no, all the work done for nothing.
Yes.
so the second step should really be the planning board then. They should go before the planning board and find out, what they need to do.
Once,
Or we ask,
Cause it's our, ball's in our court now, if it's
Yeah.
site plan or special permit.
Yeah, but they still have to file it with the town clerk first, right?
No, I would say
it
after.
states here that they should, open door policy. The board is willing to do so at a regular scheduled meeting, and there's somewhere where it says that they're not, where is it? Any communication purporting to an application shall be treated as merely advisory, and no notice shall be deemed to have been given until it is made on the official application form and filed with the town clerk. So it doesn't say when they have to file, so they can get their answer, come talk to you, then file.
yeah. the
I mean,
open
or they could
policy-
choose to file without talking, and then that's,
And
So then, yeah, it should be us then. We
Yeah.
should be a second, and then if they're gonna file it, then it would be town clerk then.
Mhm, yeah,
Because, there could be examples where something really special that is not allowed to build, but it will be tremendous benefit to the town, they'll come to us and say, look, we wanna
Mm.
have a special permit to build this because it's gonna benefit the whole town.
Right.
And that's where we start thinking about it, and if we like the idea and it's gonna benefit the town, we give them the okay to start the process.
I'm just wondering, is there any legal reason this process has to be the way that it is? Apply for zoning compliance review, whatever the hell you wanna call it, and then they reject it, then they go to the town clerk, then they give them an application, a site plan approval application, certify the date and time of the application. Is there some Massachusetts legal requirement that it go through this process?
No, but the only thing is, once the town clerk stamps it, then the clock starts. So like, then we have, what,
65 days.
65 days to schedule the
Okay.
meeting, all the, all the timing starts,
So
so.
there's no legal reason this process has to be followed?
In that order, right?
Right.
Right, I think
Doesn't
we,
it, Mass General Law does state that it needs to go, it doesn't necessarily specify the process, but it does point out that it needs to go to the town clerk to start the process.
Right,
Okay.
that's what we just said, to
well,
start
the
the
timeline
timeline.
at least, yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, but
To
what has
start-
to,
Right, it starts the clock, but it's always been unclear to me, if they submit something that's not complete, and then it's stamped, the clock starts, but how, who, then what? They're, they sign a document with the town clerk's office. She doesn't check to see if it's verified, but their signature states that this is a complete application. So at any given time, if the application isn't complete, they just perjured themselves. I mean, it's lightweight stuff ultimately, but you guys could just deny the project because it's not a complete project. It's not gonna happen, but
Well, the bottom of page 1 says the planning board may deny site plan approval if an applicant fails to submit such information.
right. So
So,
it always seems to me though, it would be like a more, like a better process if they had an opportunity to submit something and then somebody could review it and say, hey, you know what, you're missing a bunch of stuff.
well, I think that,
before.
so if step 2 was the planning board, then that would help.
yeah,
Because then they could come before the planning board, we could talk about what they're doing, what do they need, we can explain the checklist and the process.
and save them a lot of frustration that they didn't,
Yep.
Yeah,
because they
I
don't
mean,
know either, they're new to it, how do
And
they
then-
know? Even reading it, it's,
Yeah,
never done it, it's
and
it's
then
confusing.
we can say, when you get all this stuff together, make sure it's complete, and then you go to the town clerk and get it stamped.
right. I mean, on the site plan checklist, we have applications for special permits and site plans can be rejected if your application is incomplete or documents haven't been submitted.
Yep.
That's pretty straightforward.
But I think also in this paragraph, on section 3, it's stating that they give the town clerk the rejection and she gives them the site plan approval application. There still doesn't state when the special permit application, maybe they should be together, special permit application. They have that, but this is stating just the site, it sounds like, and then
It's
not
just the
everybody
site
does
plan.
need the site plan, most people do. There's also a waiver with the site plan application, in case they, like, the therapist office, she didn't need a site plan approval because it was out of her house.
Right, which she'd wanna
And so
know
she
about
rescinded it.
before she went to the town
Right, and
clerk
she
and
did
paid
come.
her
Mhm, and she
$300,
came.
right? Yeah. Yeah, no, I think this town clerk paragraph is probably
Is-
fine, we just need the second step, the new second step.
But what sounds a little confusing here too is the town clerk shall furnish the applicant, so the applicant agent shall submit I know you don't want rejection,
Oh.
but that's what it says, to the town clerk along with 2 copies of all plans and supporting documents. The town clerk shall furnish the applicant with a site plan approval application.
Right, why
The
not?
town clerk shall
no.
certify the date and time of filing of the application and return, so it just
Does
says
she-
that, there's,
Does she actually have those applications? Or
she
do
does
people
have
come
some,
in?
they're also outside the door, they're on,
So
online.
why does it say?
Why does it
she
say she's given
shall,
it? Yeah.
that she has to do it? Why
Why
does
is
it
it
go
put on
to
her?
Jill when it's, if
Yeah.
it's if it's denied, and now they may request a special permit application or a site plan
Right.
application from the planning board,
Yeah.
you know,
And what you can say is, before I give you this, you know, you understand you should go to a meeting, and you can put them right on the next agenda,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
well,
Right
she,
then and
she can
there.
go through the checklist too and just say, hey, there's a checklist here, just make sure you follow all the steps, boom, boom, here you go. Here's all your documents. And then they gotta submit everything,
Yeah.
and then,
But again, if they come to the board and you can review it with them, it's
Mhm.
gonna save a lot of frustration on everyone, because here's a big checklist that I've never had a special permit to even do. So you're gonna put this on me right now, and I could be wrong until we do it in meetings and go over it, and that's why the board's here, to review and to make sure that, you know, I can get it to you and I can make sure and I can do my best to review, but it doesn't mean it's going to be 100%. That's why the board's there to, there's 5 of you to also look it over and to make sure
Yeah.
that, and we have time.
In
There's
this
30 days,
In this
65
second-
days.
In this second paragraph, there are 4 steps that really need to be broken out. I mean, the town clerk shall furnish the applicant agent with a site plan approval application. Okay. But then it's assumed they go back and fill all that crap out, because then it says the town clerk shall certify the date and time of the filing of the application.
Right.
All right, well, that's when they come back. It seems like they're certifying the application when they give it to them. This is not clear.
And
It
shouldn't it
should-
be together, the site plan and special permit
Right.
together?
Right.
Not-
just the
it
site
sounds
plan
like they're
it
approval.
separate
should
here.
say upon completion of the application,
Right.
it shall be submitted to the town clerk.
For
Yeah.
certification of the date and
certification.
time of the filing, yeah.
But the application should be, it should come from the building department, the planning board.
Yeah, I think so
Mhm.
too. Because we're gonna have the latest and greatest copies if we make
Right.
changes,
Mm-hmm,
Right.
and you have them,
And the check sheet and everything,
mm-hmm.
and,
Mhm.
and then once everything's done and completed, then, hey, I'm gonna get my stamp from the town clerk
Yep.
and go start the process.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, we just gotta word this more, a little differently.
And telling
Since
them,
I'm
if
the
you go to the
wordsmith,
town clerk,
I
you're
can
on the
feel the
time.
eyes that- yeah.
Ed?
Yeah, no, okay. All right, I'll take a shot at this, yeah, okay.
The other way to look at it is the client brings to the planning board the project and tries to convince that this is great for the town. You know, they'll do preliminary plans, preliminary, you know, renderings and everything. Then it goes to the building inspector to make sure that the construction documents are appropriate for building.
Well, that's why we have the open door policy. If they do
Right.
wanna do that, they can attend a meeting and say, hey,
Yeah,
That's
you
the-
know,
that's
so we
the-
have that as the second thing right on there before the application.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So that's already in there,
Mhm.
so, yeah, I think, like what Ed's saying, is we do need to break it down, make it more clear. It doesn't make any sense to have the town clerk giving out you know, whether it's a site plan or, you know,
And
Yeah,
maybe this
what it
should be
is.
listed as special permit and site plan together, so that it's
Yeah.
not, some
Right.
people might think they just need a site plan. Other
Right,
people
no,
could think
I'm-
they need a
I'm-
special
I'm gonna
permit.
Change that, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll play with this and I'll send it around to everybody. Let's take a look at it. Actually, why don't I send it to you, Jill, first?
Okay.
yes.
We can work through it and then we can send it to everybody.
Okay.
And talk about, yeah, okay, all right, that's
Sounds
fine.
good.
All right,
And the word rejection sounds,
I already have synonym next to it.
yes,
Yeah.
doesn't sound good.
Well, so the interesting thing is, if you look at Brimfield and other towns, their ZBA does special permits, because anything that isn't that initial building permit it becomes a variance. So then it goes to the ZBA. So we have a weird system where we're the special permit authority, where it could be the ZBA. Like, we would just do bylaws and planning,
Use of land.
use of land, and the ZBA would be handling all these special permits.
Changes.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's the way it is.
so, I mean, if you really wanna get down to it, I mean, we
No.
can change the structure like that at some point too.
And the rejection is, it's the building permits rejected because they
Right.
can't
Yeah, the
build it. That's
building-
why they use the word rejection. It's not,
Yeah, because
they're
they
rejecting
tried
the
to
whole
build it
project.
Before it's approved.
yes.
Right, so you could say issue a rejection of the building permit, so
Mhm. to make it sound, they're
Or
not
deny.
rejecting the project,
Denial. yeah.
Denial.
Mhm.
denial.
Denial's a better word, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's like, suddenly I buy a land and I wanna build my house and I make all the plans and give it to the building inspector and he's gonna deny it because probably I don't have, the town doesn't allow houses on that port.
Right.
So the order of things is just wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they should never go somewhere and get rejected, denied first, because they
Correct.
should know that was gonna happen.
They have to reject it because it's not following the process, not because it's a bad project. It's just
Yes.
because you're doing,
The
you're,
process needs to be rearranged.
Yes, all right. Well, I'll rearrange the process and then we can figure it
you're
out.
eating the dessert before the entry, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're on paying Jill.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do a motion to pay Jill in the amount of $288, $270, and $270.
You have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Drew King, aye.
Ed Longigan, aye.
David Dufresne, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
Richi Hacker, aye.
Then we have the
The invoices.
the invoices.
So I'll make a motion to approve the WB Mason invoices in the amount of $23.57 and $7.39 and $72.38 for office supplies and invoices dated.
Do you have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Drew King, aye.
Ed Longigan, aye.
David Dufresne, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
Richi Hacker, aye.
Approve and sign May 08, 2023, May 09, 2023, and May 22, 2023 minutes.
I cannot vote on the May 22nd meetings, minutes, I was not here.
Okay.
All right.
Do a motion to sign the May, oh, did you have changes?
No, no.
I'll do a motion to sign the May 8th, 2023, May 9th, 2023, and May 22nd, 2023 minutes.
Second,
All in favor?
Drew King, aye.
I can't vote on the 22nd.
So I just leave it as the three, we only need 4 signatures anyway.
Yeah.
So just,
That's fine.
David Dufresne, aye. Excuse me.
Derek Bellis, aye.
Richi Hacker, aye.
Motion passes, minutes passes. Do we have any new business or old business?
New business, we have to pick a hearing date for Callahan.
Okay, here's what BJ just did for this. So this is exactly what we're talking about. If the review of the town of Warren zoning bylaws indicates a special permit is required.
I asked her to do it,
You asked her to do this, okay.
Yeah, this is good. She should do this all the time.
but it should be
that
done
doesn't-
before they submit it, and that's what we're establishing now.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, that they
yeah.
need
But
to
they
sub-
submitted it, and then I asked her,
Okay.
and that's why sometimes you need the
Okay, all
signatures.
right.
But in order to get it to all the other boards and committees within 30 days, July 10th is gonna be it won't give them enough time, so the 24th would probably be the best date for the hearing. And
July
that's,
24th?
Okay, wait, say that
yeah.
again?
Yeah,
If we pick July 10th, today's the 12th, we don't really give me time to get it to all the boards.
okay.
The 24th would give us time, and the deadline, the 65th day is August 3rd. So we'll be within the 65 days by picking
I
July
won't be here
12th.
on the 24th.
July 24.
And the 17th's too soon?
17th, we don't have a meeting. 17th would work, but we don't have a meeting.
No, it's because we didn't schedule a meeting yet.
Right, well, yeah, it says the 2nd and 4th. If you wanna swap out the 17th instead of the 24th.
You guys don't mind, because technically I should, you know, for special permits, you should be at every meeting.
Right.
So,
Well, 17th is fine by me.
Fine with me.
so we'll just do a meeting on the 10th and then the 17th.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, right? I mean, or the 31st, right? That would be the other one, I guess.
Do you
I
wanna
will
do the
not be here.
31st?
17th and the 31st?
I'm gone that week.
You're gone.
Oh, you're gone?
All right, 17th.
10th and 17th, okay.
You say tenth and seventeenth, or seventeenth and twenty-fourth?
No,
10th and 17th.
Okay.
So the hearing on the 17th.
It's in it.
All right, and these guys did like half, they didn't submit the checklist.
Wait, can I just clarify, and no meeting on the 24th, correct?
Yes.
No meeting on the
Okay.
24th.
All right.
So I thought
Yeah, there is no checklist, huh?
somewhere in here they had what, oh, they had site plan approval check. You know what? This is probably the old one. This is the one that we had before we did the checklist with actual check boxes. So can you ask them to review the new checklist? I have the 300. Yeah, it's the site plan document checklist.
So email them, ask them to review it and submit.
Yeah.
And is, also that's something to look, is that in our fully, we have it on the site, but does it say it's required in our rules for future? To save confusion.
We have things that are required, it says when the public hearing is open,
Right.
and 2 weeks before the first day of the public hearing, so this stuff is required. And the other stuff is, we might request during the public hearing process.
Oh, this is where it comes from. This is the site plan approval checklist. So what this needs to be done, this needs to be modified so it says, so it includes the document checklist. I can do that. Oh, is it an application fee of 200 or 300?
300.
Change that.
Changed it.
Where did they get this from? Do you have the original Word document on this thing?
On the document
The site plan?
checklist.
Well, on the website, it's under, site plan application.
Look around.
Yeah, that's the old one.
Yeah, so where did they get this one from? That's what I'm,
It looks like they're using a lot of our old information. This stuff's out of date.
When was the new document
We
checklist?
probably went back to the old permit.
Right, they could have done that.
So,
Mhm.
what? They what?
Maybe they went back to the old permit, or when was that new one added? Recent, or was it?
Like the checklist was done in June 2021.
No, that wouldn't make sense, huh?
Yeah, they probably just went back to the old permit and just gave us whatever they gave us then.
maybe.
Yeah, I think all those copies is, if you look at the beginning of it, I think it's their old permit, right?
Yeah, it's from 2007, I think. is
The
what
new
some
one
of the
was
stuff
on
we saw.
top. And then they just included, that's a copy of their old permit to refer to, I think.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, application number 196. Okay. All right, yeah, so they need to go to the website then and,
So ask them to go to the website.
under site plans. And it's,
Leave it on the first page, right? Number 3 says enclosed copies of the site plan. We don't have a site plan.
There is, I sent you the digital, and there's a copy for the town clerk, me, and then I think one of them is right here. This,
What was the title of the email?
it was last week. I don't have it on this phone. Wanna say special permit 310.
Last
yeah.
week?
Yeah, it was last week, cause I confirmed today that I sent it. I wanted to double check. And,
This one from the 8th?
yeah, try that one. See what we-
Yeah, it's got the,
I think
What
this
is the subject?
CAL Rolling Hills, Gilbert Road on the 8th.
So this is also what came in with that, but there's no, they don't have a, I don't see a date.
Oh, there's a date.
Nothing.
Wait, turn it over. There was a date. No, left.
Oh, yep, so this is the most recent, this is the hard copy of it. You have the digital also.
What date was sent?
The June 8th?
The email.
I have 2 emails on Thursday. One is a draft of the commissioning plan, and the other one is rules and regulations for site plan.
Maybe it's already-
That's all I got too.
What? Yeah, this went to everybody. Derek, David, Drew,
What date is it?
June 8th, 11:36 a.m.
I only have 2 things.
What did you say was the subject?
So it's FW:/CAL Rolling Hills, comma, Gilbert Road. We're all on here.
June 8th?
Mm-hmm.
I have 3. Beaman Road Solar. Draft of decommissioning plan.
It's the one that's highlighted there, Derek.
That one?
Yep, that's it.
Regulations for site plan.
Yeah, it's got the. What else went out that day? Yeah, draft of decommissioning plan for Beaman.
Right,
Rules and regulations.
yeah.
It's one of those 2, David, but it's forward. It says draft of the commissioning plan.
I was,
Beaman Road Solar, but this is, are they gonna do solar here?
No, this is just a gravel pit. You want me to resend the email?
I just got it sent earlier today at 5:30.
Yep, I have that one too. 57 pages, which
Yeah,
is this.
that's today, yeah, 5:32.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the one I got.
didn't get anything earlier than that. I don't know why this is,
Interesting, because I wasn't here at 5:32.
It says 4 days ago.
yeah, I mean, it shows that 4 days ago, this was sent, but I got the one that was sent today, but I don't have the one from the 8th.
Yeah. It says, I look in your drop down as far as who received it on the 8th. I'm on there.
Yeah, I am too.
It's-
Okay. Oh, we all are, but, yeah. So what time did you send this today?
I didn't send it today.
You didn't send
I
it today.
sent it on the 8th.
But Rich replied today
Today,
saying
okay.
that
Right, okay, the
Didn't
thing
have-
I was, right. Yeah, I didn't get this 4 days ago.
Hmm.
I got it Thursday.
Anyway, we got it now.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
All right, so we're looking at a date. We made a plan for
The 17th.
the 17th for that.
Maybe we can work a little bit on the subjects and say like Pete, project or something, so we can easily find it. Because-
Yeah, I just,
Call Rolling Hills, Gilbert Road.
I do not like Gmail. Period.
Well, you can forward everything to your Hotmail from Gmail and then that's it.
okay, all right.
When you want me to ask them to provide the board with the checklist, you want them to review it and provide them with whatever was missing.
Yeah,
Here, review the
Just review it,
checklist
make sure that everything from the checklist is there.
and submit the checklist.
and submit the
Submit,
checklist.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the project, they're gonna waive a lot of things, but still.
Yeah.
I'm hearing voices.
Yeah, I am.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're out there, fine.
Parking lot.
It's Jim.
All right.
No more new business?
Yes, someone left it, Stephanie, I have to find her phone number, but left a message, and I think it's for the select board, but I'm not sure, so I wanted to bring it to you. 727 Old Brimfield Road, it's a gravel pit. The owner wants to place a sign out, and they wanna know who they go to get that
Sign
approved.
to the pit.
Mm-hmm. Like a business sign outside.
Is that highway? Is highway
That's
approved?
high.
I thought it was the select board had to approve signs.
Probably
but I
the
don't know.
select board.
Yeah, they
Planning.
approve signage.
The only signs planning board approves are the ones that
Send
they.
send it to,
Jimmy,
Karen.
Karen.
Right, yeah, it wasn't an email, it was just a voicemail, but I'll
Yeah.
give her the information.
Yeah, the only
Okay.
signs that the planning boards do are the ones that when they're gonna do a start
Construction.
construction and they show like this, the name.
I was just thinking of Copart, if we were gonna require them to have signs, I guess it was the
Mhm.
select board that was
Mhm.
gonna approve.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure.
So we got the hearing date for special permit 310, which is this.
Mm-hmm. 717.
We got the checklist.
They will.
This is the one in 119?
No, that's Callahan's.
This one's Callahan?
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of that one. This is 310. Any comments or concerns?
None for me.
Somebody in Zoom?
Zoom,
So is this where I pipe in?
this is where you pipe in.
Oh, it is, okay, sorry, I'm asleep at the wheel doing something.
Hey, Joyce.
You may know I'm involved with a few groups around the state that are, working with, our legislators and lawmakers to, try to figure out how to deal with, giving the towns back their right, to regulate solar within its boundaries. And, there is every single time legislation has come up over the past, 6 years, maybe even more, what happens is that it gets kicked. The bill gets kicked to, the telecommunications and utilities. It's a joint committee and it dies a very quiet death. There's a lot of momentum around quite a few bills right now this year in the House to deal with solar and, clear cutting and the right to regulate and a whole series of other things. And anyway, there's a hearing coming up next Tuesday, and this is really a courtesy. I'm sharing the fact that I'm considering going and testifying at the hearing to give perspective about a small community like many of us. There's quite a few people I know that are, in the group that are going to testify, either about tree clearing. It depends on what the hearing is, but this particular hearing is about adjusting the Dover Amendment, no unreasonable regulation, and having them remove solar from that, or at least clarify the language around it so it states that that was only for rooftop and not for utility scale solar. So anyway.
Very good, Joyce. Good luck.
Yeah,
Excellent,
yes.
Fabulous.
excellent.
We support you.
Go for it.
So I think Rich should go with you.
I think he should drive you. Driving Miss Joyce.
Also sleep when we drive. Okay,
Yeah.
so if I have like an extra minute to actually put together a decent testimony, I'm going, but if I don't, then I'm not gonna do it, but
Rich, give her some time.
Yeah.
Okay, you have all the time you need.
Rich is taking care of all the chores till you get it done.
yeah, okay.
Cooking, cleaning, laundry.
You heard it here first.
So she was looking for a blessing from the planning board, but then she's gonna have to come before the select board because she's gonna speak on behalf of the town.
Okay.
So it needs to be those guys on the select board that should say, yes, we're
Yeah.
okay with you doing that, so.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
We do have a meeting on
also really
Thursday.
to get permission, even if I did it just for the Conservation Commission, I would still ask, for blessing since I'm appointed.
Okay.
So you're gonna put yourself on the agenda for, Thursday, right?
I'll put myself on the agenda for Thursday, in fact, I'll send
Comments and
an email
concerns, right?
right now.
Okay.
Well, yeah, or,
And do that,
yeah, or she can just have Karen put her on.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
Yes. What's the,
Joyce, you're doing the right thing.
okay, yeah, because we get till tomorrow
Yeah,
to have it posted, all right.
yeah, yeah, you have all day
I was
tomorrow.
just thinking of posting requirements, as long as we have 48 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
Well, just give me the first part of Karen's email. Is it select, or is it just the selectmen?
Select
Select-
board.
No, it's selectmen.
Is it the
Selectmen.
town of,
Selectmen@warren-ma.gov.
got it, okay.
You can also just probably do, oh, you don't have the town email, yeah. It's also Karen Dusty, I think, comes up, but yeah.
I'm not seeing it come up. I do have the town of Warren. I'm sending it through the town of Warren email versus, Gmail. Okay, wish me luck.
Well, thank you, Joyce, for
Thank
letting
you
us
for
know.
doing that.
And yes, very best of luck. And we'll make sure he holds up his part of the bargain.
Yeah, that we volunteered him for.
Yeah.
I'll change all the diapers and, you know, clean up after the dog and,
Do
yeah.
the dishes, the laundry.
Mhm.
He does it anyway, right?
You won't have to mow the lawn this time.
Right, exactly. All right, you guys, thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Okay. There was an email today about ethics questions regarding representatives for special permit.
Yes.
Yeah. The two people in question need to be designated as special town employees. Otherwise, they cannot, because they already, like, work for the town, they can't represent a party in front of the town.
And Mr. Farrar has notified them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can talk about it on Thursday and, or the select board can.
It's like,
I mean, I read it, but is it the individuals, or does it have to be like the whole conservation?
No, it can be the individuals.
Just the individuals?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Do we have any comments or concerns from the public?
That's it. What's going on the 26th? What's our next meeting got?
Next meeting is the 26th, yeah, that is special permit 309, Samick Properties LLC.
Okay.
So far.
That is the night, the two libraries are getting together to discuss coming together as one library.
Oh.
That is the night that we'll be trying to do that.
Next meeting,
Yeah.
so you will be here?
No, I guess not. I mean, we've been trying to do this, and that's the one night both boards can get together.
You wanna come in here? Oh.
But anyway, so,
What time is that meeting at?
7:00.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do the people that presented, that sent this in, should they be notified that because they weren't here, that maybe they want to reschedule or see?
Yeah, put on the next agenda.
well, they need to reschedule anyways, because
They
they
didn't know.
They didn't
check.
pay the,
Pay
they
or
didn't pay the
anything,
fee,
so-
so.
Yeah, but I mean, at least notify them that,
Yeah, yeah.
we were expecting you, where were you?
I mean,
Yeah, do you
technically, they
continue
don't
it to
have
the
to
next,
show.
or, I don't know, yeah, I don't know.
Right, but.
I don't
There's
know,
no
can you
check.
continue something
Yeah,
where
if
there's
they
no
don't
money
pay.
yet?
Yeah, well,
No,
technically, they haven't submitted anything then.
right,
Hmm.
Except those nice pieces of paper.
right.
the plans. So,
Well, maybe when we get the check, we reschedule
yeah, I'll just contact him and let him know if he didn't come.
until we
Where's
get
the
the
check?
check.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be on the agenda.
Mhm.
Okay. Next,
Motion to adjourn.
second?
Second.
Drew King, aye.
Ed Longigan, aye.
David Dufresne, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
Rich Ihacker, aye.
We are out. We're done for tonight's meeting.